Good afternoon. We shall just say hello to the people listening to us via internet. We've been told that there are several thousand people following us from different countries around the world. And they are following what's going on here and spreading this around the whole world. Now we're going to have the opportunity to to learn about what is happening in Nigeria, in the area where Boko Haram is in control and how Christians are living in that area. I have the honor of presenting Monsignor Oliver Dashdoem, the Bishop of Maiduguri. He was born in 1960. He became a bishop in 1997, and he was named bishop by Benedict XVI. I have the feeling that, well, I always have this feeling, but right now, particularly, that God is really looking after us. And in the case of Nigeria and the area in which we're talking about, which is controlled by Boko Haram, God has put a wise and good man there, as you will see for yourselves. In the diocese in which he is bishop, 50 churches and chapels have been destroyed in recent years, 200 churches, and 1,000 believers in the diocese have been murdered. Almost 70,000 of the 125 Catholics, that is, in other words, 70%, have fled to refugee camps. And all of this has taken place in the midst of a cowardly silence of the Western world. In January, Charlie Hebdo suffered the attacks, and shortly after that in Nigeria, 2,500 people were killed using girl bombs. 15,000 people have been killed throughout Nigeria. 135,000 have fled to Niger, Cameroon, and Chad, and there are 850,000 displaced people within the country itself. Given this serious situation and in the face of an attack which caused 2,500 deaths and went unnoticed by international community, in Citizen Go we decided to launch a campaign for Nigeria, expressing our solidarity with all of the Christians who died in silence. It's as if there is a hierarchy of deaths, as if some deaths are worth more than others. And I think it is particularly relevant to understand how this is experienced and viewed, and how a bishop living in a situation of emergency deals with this. In December 2014, Monsignor Dashdoem wrote a letter which some have translated in the press as the title of Where is God? But in reality, it wasn't actually the title. It was the letter of consolation and hope. And in that letter, he gathered together the questions asked by his followers, those which remind us also of Auschwitz. Where is God? Has he abandoned us? Are we being punished for our sins? How can God allow that the agents of the devil destroy our innocent children? Is God weak? Can evil win over good? And with these questions, after these questions to which he has no answer, and none of us, and Benedict XVI has no answer to all of this, the only person with the answers is God, and God always has a hopeful message. And the bishop encourages his followers to pray. But not just pray. He encourages people to participate in a brave and aware way. From an interview in February, 2 months ago, he accused the political powers in the north for having favored the growth of Boko Haram. He accuses them of making the country impossible to govern because they go against the Christian community, and the Nigerian army is incompetent, the highest members are worthless, and there are sympathizers with the Boko Haram to be found infiltrated amongst the troops. When he was asked about the need for Western military action to put an end to Boko Haram, he answered, yes, as a Christian and as leader of the church, I am hopeful and confident in the power of the Lord to put an end to this crisis, and I encourage the people in my diocese to do the same. The best weapon is prayer. Prayer is the solution to our problems. And he adds, but it is important that certain measures must be taken at a human level in order to achieve checkmate with the excessive actions of Boko Haram. One of these measures must be foreign troops. I really strongly support this option. It will help greatly in order to crush Boko Haram. This is what he said in an interview, and this is what he has been saying in the interviews that he has been giving during the last 2 days. And this is going to be a golden opportunity for us to hear from himself, his very own words, telling us about what's happening and how they face it in a Christian way, how they deal with this threat, how they can live in a territory controlled by Boko Haram. Thank you very much. I'll give you the floor.
That lengthy introduction. After this particular reflection was written in Nigeria to be presented today at this conference, 2 important events happened in our country. And of course, they are good news. The first one is that within the span of 6 weeks, the military were able to recapture many of the areas that were under Boko Haram control. And as it is now, it is only, if there are, then there are only few areas that have not been reclaimed. But the rest have been reclaimed, and Boko Haram members have been sent fleeing from the military. So that's the first good news. The second good news is the fact that the elections in Nigeria have taken place. The elections have taken place, and to a very large extent, the elections were free and fair and peaceful. To a large extent, they were peaceful. So that is the second good news. And we want to thank God for the love he shows towards us as a country. Maiduguri City, which is the headquarters of the Catholic Diocese of Maiduguri, was one of the most peaceful cities in northern Nigeria. That is before 2006. But in February 2006, the unusual thing happened. And what was the unusual thing? Out of the 52 Christian churches that were existing in that city, 50 of them on 18th February were burnt down by the military, the Muslim youth. What was the cause of that? It was because of the cartoon of Prophet Muhammad that took place in Denmark, the Danish cartoon of Prophet Muhammad. That sparked of reactions among Muslims in different parts of the world. And so Nigeria was affected, and particularly the city of Maiduguri. So out of 50 churches, only 2 were left standing after 18 February 2006. Then in 2009, we witnessed the emergence of Boko Haram. Boko Haram is a term in Hausa which simply means Western education is evil or Western education is sinful. And so the members of this sect are against anything that has a link with Western education. But ironically, you find them using AK-47, using handset, using internet, and so on and so forth. Yet they are saying that they are against Western education. But of course, that has been their position. And my brothers and sisters, from that 2009 up to date, the Boko Haram members have attacked and destroyed lives and property. Many people have been killed. My brother has made the work even simple for me. He has said a lot of things about some of the reports that were given in the past. They've killed a lot of our people, and they've destroyed a lot of our structures. But the point is, why has Boko Haram grown so powerful? Boko Haram has grown so powerful because it is sponsored both within and outside the country. There are very powerful persons in our country and outside the country that are supporting the sect and funding it. It is heavily funded. So because of that, it has become very, very strong. But then, the impression some of us are having here is that Boko Haram killed or are killing only the Christians. But that is not the case. The Boko Haram members are killing both Christians and Muslims. And let me tell you that the casualties among the Muslims are more than those of the Christians. Well, why would they kill the Muslims? Because the Muslims are not supporting them in carrying out their own agenda. That is the strict application of the Sharia law. So if as a Muslim you do not support them, then you go. And so we find that in these areas that are covered by our own diocese, that is Borno State, Yobe State, and the northern part of Adamawa, Boko Haram members have destroyed many communities that are occupied by Muslims. A very good example is what happened in Baga. Baga is a local government in Borno State. And we are told that over 1,500 people were killed in the attack that Boko Haram brought on that very particular local government or town. But out of that number, 98% of those that were killed were Muslims. The few of them are Christians. So the Boko Haram members have been attacking both Christians and Muslims. My dear brothers and sisters, as my brother said in the introduction, the most devastated, the most affected, and the most touched diocese or church is the Catholic Diocese of Maiduguri. And I'm saying that because Boko Haram members have spread both within the cities and in the villages and even in the forests, within the area that is covered by our own diocese. So they have caused a lot of havoc to the church in the Catholic Diocese of Maiduguri. Of course, as he has said, we have over 50 parish and outstation churches that have been destroyed. And as it is now, except for the fact that some of our members are coming back, otherwise they were sacked and there were no people there. Apart from this, we also have up to 20 primary and mission colleges that have been sacked, and some few of them completely destroyed. In addition to this, our minor seminary, St. Joseph Minor Seminary, Shua, was not only attacked by Boko Haram members, but it became their own abbot. They decided to occupy that minor seminary, but meanwhile, they had destroyed many of the structures there. So that is one of the experiences we are going through in our place. We have over 15 rectories that have been destroyed too by the sect members. Over 40 female religious or nuns that have fled from our own diocese because their convents have been attacked by Boko Haram members. In addition to this, we have over 25 priests who are taking refuge in other dioceses within Nigeria. And why is it happening that way? Because they have been sent packing from their parishes and institutions where they have been working. In addition to this, We also have over 700 of our members that have been killed. So some of our brothers and sisters who have spoken have been talking about matters. We have the harvest of matters in Maiduguri diocese. The harvest of matters, because many of our people have been killed in this insurgency. In addition to this, we also have over 33,000 Nigerians who are taking refuge in Cameroon. Bishop Joseph Bagobri is here. As a conference, they sent us to Cameroon to see our refuge, these members. And we went and saw them. It's a very pitiable situation, but they are there, over 33,000 people. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the current situation that we are facing in our diocese. Then we have the Chibok girls' adoption. Of course, this month, it is 1 year since the Chibok girls were adopted. And out of 270 of those Chibok secondary school girls that were adopted, only about 50 of them were able to escape. But the rest, we do not know their whereabouts. We do not know where they are. And we have many stories about them. Some are saying that they have been converted to Islam. Some of them have saying that, some people are saying they have been married out, and so on and so forth, or they have been sold out. But our prayer is that they are still alive. Our prayer is that they will come back eventually, that they will be rescued, and they will come back to their own families. We are people of hope, and we are trusting that God is protecting and guiding them wherever they are, despite what the Boko Haram members can do. But let me just quickly say, my dear people, that before and after the adoption of Chibok girls, we also have several adoptions that have taken place. Many of our women and girls were adopted before and after the adoption of the Chibok girls. In fact, they run in hundreds, if not 1,000. Of course, a few of them were able to escape, and Monica is one of the ladies that would have come together with me for this conference. And Michael already talked about their visa issue. They were not given a visa. But she was one of those adopted. But we thank God she was able to escape. She would have been here to give her own story. So, that's the situation that we are facing. Many of our women have been adopted, and our prayer too is that since the military are winning the war, they will eventually be found and they will come back to their family members. What is the solution to Boko Haram? There are two solutions. Of course, we know that what is primary is prayer. And that is what some of the speakers have already said. Boko Haram is evil. Boko Haram is demonic. And this demon can only be removed by prayer. That is very, very true. And that is very correct. But what of at the fiscal level? At the fiscal level, one of the major solutions to Boko Haram, my dear brothers and sisters, is the education of our youth. Nigeria is a very rich country, but unfortunately is one of the most corrupt nations that we have in the world. Successive governments in the country, and particularly those in the north, have neglected the youth. And when I'm talking of youth, I'm talking about Muslim and Christian youth, but particularly the Muslim youth. These youth have not been trained. And so they are illiterate, they are ignorant, and at the end of the day, the politicians use them for their selfish interests. Look at what is happening with the Boko Haram members in our area. They are being deceived. The politicians are using religion to capture the attention of these youth and to tell them that when they go and kill themselves with others in the name of religion, then they will get a lot of reward in heaven. that when they commit suicide bombings with others, when they kill themselves with others, they will go and marry a lot of virgins in heaven. So that's the kind of thing that goes on. And these people, because they are ignorant and illiterate, believe what they are being told. But you could imagine if these youth are trained, they are given proper education, they will never accept what these ones will tell them. I remember having an encounter with a Muslim youth in Abuja. And I met this young man. He carried me in a taxi from my accommodation to the Nosicho. I didn't know that he is a Muslim, but along the line I got to know that he is a Muslim. And so when I asked him about what was happening, and then he said, "My Lord, these politicians are deceiving our youth." And he said, "I have a Christian friend, and that this Christian friend took care of me when I was sick. He was very close to me. He was the very one that was very close to me, and he was supporting me. That how can you now tell me to go and slaughter that Christian? That I will not do it." That is a product of education. So that's the first one. The second one, my dear brothers and sisters, is that these youth need to be given gainful employment opportunities. When they are trained and they are given employment opportunities, my dear brothers and sisters, these youth will use their talents and energy to serve humanity rather than to destroy our lives. Rather than to destroy lives. So these are the two major requirements that we have as far as, when we are talking about the solution to Boko Haram is concerned. And so this requires funds, both from within and outside the country, so that this youth will be trained in this manner. What has the diocese done so far? Our brothers and sisters, the diocese has done so much. At the fiscal level, we have taken relief materials and food items to our displaced members in different parts of the country, and including Cameroon. And we've also taken relief materials and food items to non-Catholics, to Christians from other denominations, especially inside Maiduguri. I have personally gone to these refugee camps, and even to refugee camps occupied by the Muslims. We've taken relief materials to them. That has really brought relief to these our people. And they are very happy, and they realize that, after all, we are close to them. In Maiduguri, we have our new secretariat that is being built. We have some of these refugees of our members that are being accommodated there, and the diocese is taking care of them. Then at the spiritual level, we have organized prayers for our diocese. From 2013 to 2014, we've organized what we call, or declared what we call, the Year of Our Lady. And a lot of Marian programs happened within the year. The closing ceremonies of this Year of Our Lady happened in January of this year. And let me tell you, our Blessed Virgin Mother did a miracle. 2 days after that ceremony, or after that occasion, the Boko Haram members wanted to capture Maiduguri. And our Mother Mary did not allow that to happen. So they didn't succeed. In addition to that, we also have what we call the Marian, the Rosary. We embark on the Rosary procession. And this happens in families, in the outstations, in the parishes, and then even at the diocesan level. We also have the every end of month fasting and prayer. And just as some of the speakers have already said, prayer, my dear brothers and sisters, is absolutely important. It is absolutely important, because it is through prayer that the devil will definitely be uprooted. We are seeing good signs. We are seeing good signs already. We are seeing good signs. We are seeing the end of this Boko Haram. And the very thing that is going to do this or help us do this is prayer. Prayer will definitely see us through. My brothers and sisters, I want to say that despite what we have been experiencing, the faith of our people is unshakable. The faith of the priests, the few religious that are still in the diocese, and the lay faithful is unshakable. We have instances in which bomb blasts occur in different places, in different parts of the diocese. Killings are taking place, and yet our people still go to churches for their own religious activities. They still go to churches for their own religious devotions. They still visit one another. They still carry out their own Christian activities. It is a product of what? Faith. My dear brothers and sisters, even among our priests, you find the priests moving from one part of the diocese to the other, still carrying out their own ministerial functions. Like myself, I cannot see myself going out of my house for any function within Maiduguri city or outside Maiduguri city without having my own skull cap and then my own sultan. I always do that, which means I am making myself vulnerable to the attacks of Boko Haram. I'm exposing myself to the attack of Boko Haram. But the point is that I am ready for anything that will happen. As a bishop, my brother will tell you, and some of the bishops that are here will tell you, that when you become a bishop, you sign your death warrant. You sign your death warrant. In other words, you are ready to shed your blood for the sake of Jesus' flock. And so that is the situation in which we are in. In fact, there was this drama that took place in the airport in Abuja. My friend, Bishop Anthony Adaji, Bishop Joseph Bagobiri knows him, was coming to our own diocese for a function, a religious function. And I was in Abuja, so we had to fly from Abuja to Maiduguri together. So he phoned me from his own diocese while I was in Abuja that he told a few people in his own diocese and that they discouraged him from coming to Maiduguri because they said if he went, he would not go back alive, that they would kill him. So he was asking me, what was the situation? I said, my brother, don't worry. Come, let us go. Nothing will happen to you. But some of them said, even if you are going, then you have to wear this big gown. You have to wear this big gown so that the terrorists will not recognize you as a bishop. And then maybe through that, you may not be killed. But I encouraged him to come. And then eventually, he wore his Roman collar as I have it, like this, then with a suit. We came and met in Abuja airport. And we were to be checked in. And here was this Muslim. The Muslim is the officer there, and he was the one to check us in. So when he saw me, I was in my sultan with my skull cap. So when he saw me in my sultan and with my skull cap, then he said to them, all of us are pastors. So he said, Pastor, you can go. Don't remove your shoes. Just go inside. So I went inside. Then he looked at Bishop Anthony. He looked at him and said, but you, remove your shoes. You remove your shoes. And then I whispered to his ears. I said, he is also a bishop. Then he said, but he doesn't have the kind of clothes you are wearing. So Bishop Abadaji laughed, and I laughed over that. But he learned a lesson from that. And what was it? What was it that, why did the Muslim reacted that way? Because he saw me in my own sultan. And that is an action of witness. It's an action of witness. Let me tell you, my dear people, that the gospel is a divine project. It is not a human enterprise. And no human forces will stop it from spreading. I'm hearing of stories of what is happening in Syria, Iraq, and the rest of them. But I am very optimistic. Christianity will flourish in these areas. And Christianity will flourish in our diocese. Why am I saying that? Because Jesus is the founder of our religion. He told Peter in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, verse 18, that you are Peter, and you are this rock, and on this rock I will build my foundation, or build my church, that the gates of hell will never do what? Prevail against it. These terrorists, and particularly the Boko Haram members, think that by burning our churches, burning our own structures, they would destroy Christianity. But they will never. Just as some of the speakers have already said, they can destroy our structures, but they will never destroy our faith. They will never destroy our faith. And that is what I came and telling my people, that even if you are taken to the top of the mountain, even if you are taken to the forest, wherever you are taken to, just make sure that you never let go any of these two. Your faith and your soul. Your faith is a treasure that you must continue to preserve. And then your soul must be in the hands of the Lord. Submit your soul in the hands of the Lord, so that they don't take this away from you. But my dear brothers and sisters, our people are very, very strong in faith. And that is a very good sign for us. And I have no doubt that the church will bloom in Maiduguri diocese, in the northeastern part of Nigeria. I remember cracking some jokes in the Bishops' Conference. Bishop Joseph Agobri will also testify to that. I said the early emperors, in the early history of the church, the emperors emerged in Rome and thought that they would crush the church. But they never succeeded. They didn't know at that time that by this time Rome will be the capital of the universal church. And I said, who knows? Maybe Maiduguri diocese will one day be the capital of the Catholic Church in Nigeria. So, my dear brothers and sisters, what then do we require from you? It is not different from what the past speakers have already said. We need your prayerful support. Prayer will always work wonders. Continue to pray for us. And by so doing, you find that together we'll win the war, and then victory will come our way. Then secondly, we also require your financial support. You've heard of the statistics of the destructions that the Boko Haram members have done, or cost to lives and property in our own diocese and in other parts of the world. We require your own financial support. It is when you give us financial support that will train our youth. The training in the Catholic Church is normally holistic. The church does not train only the Catholic members, it trains even those who are Muslims. And you could imagine Muslim youth coming into the Catholic schools and to be trained. They will have a very balanced view of, of life, and then of the relationship among human beings. So we need that, and that is very, very crucial. I want to say a very big thank you to this very particular organization, Ignatius Asragwa, and his own team for this invitation and for giving me this opportunity to share this reflection with you people. And even for for campaigning for funds in order to support the church in the Catholic Diocese of Maiduguri. I want to thank you for what has been given to us. About $12,000 US dollars have been collected and given to us. I want to say a very big thank you to Ignatius and your own team. May the Lord continue to bless you greatly. And may the Lord continue to open the doors so that you'll be able to get more of the funds that you ask from people, and you will continue to take care of the suffering church in the entire world. I want to talk about a very special person, and this special person is our Blessed Virgin Mother. My brothers and sisters, our Blessed Virgin Mother loves us and cherishes us as her children. Yes, Boko Haram is our own demon. But I want to tell you that Mama Mary is helping us to remove or to expel the demon of Boko Haram from our church in our own diocese. And she will do the same in other parts of the world. Here in Europe, I mean, for you here in Europe, you have your own demons. You have your demons that need to be removed, that need to be expelled, that need to be deleted. You have the demon of secularism, the demon of gay marriage, the demon of abortion, the demon of asking God. That is to ask God, get God down, get his church down. You have that these demons. But I want to assure you that the rosary will do the magic. The rosary will do the magic. Yes. I am telling you this, if I am allowed to remain here to give you the testimonies of what Mama Mary has done for me, we will sleep in this place. Mary will do it for us. Our young man, Luca, was talking about communism in Russia. That for 70 years, communism persecuted the church in Russia. But what was the thing that crushed or made communism to collapse in Russia? It was our Blessed Virgin Mother. When Pope John Paul II consecrated Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, that was the end of communism. And let me tell you that Mama Mary is going to put an end to the demons that are attacking you as a church here in Europe and elsewhere. Unfortunately, some of us do not cherish the rosary. We do not use the rosary very well. But my dear brothers and sisters, we need to pray our rosary. We need to pray our rosary. And let me just end with this personal testimony. One day, I was praying the Blessed Sacrament in my chapel, and I was praying the rosary. This thing happened late last year. Then suddenly, the Lord appeared before me with a very big sword, very long sword in his own hand, a long sword. And when I looked up and saw him, I got frightened. And then I said, Lord, what is this? He didn't say anything. Then he stretched the sword towards me. And I stretched my two arms and received the sword. The moment I received the sword, it turned into the rosary. It became the rosary. Then, after that, the Lord spoke. Boko Haram is gone. Boko Haram is gone. Boko Haram is gone. And it disappeared. My dear brothers and sisters, from that very particular moment, I knew that Boko Haram is gone. It may take maybe some few months or some few years and so on and so forth. But the definite thing is that Boko Haram is gone. May it be too that secularism will be gone in Europe. Gay marriage will be gone in Europe. Abortion will be gone in Europe. And if we get ourselves committed to the cause of Mary and to pray the rosary, that will definitely happen. May the goodness, mercy, kindness, and compassion of the Lord accompany you all the days of your lives. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Monseñor. Thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias por su testimonio.
Thank you very much for your testimony, for that strength of your faith, the firmness of your faith that you have shown to us, and for that personal experience that you have just told us. In fact, after listening to testimonies such as yours, one feels very small. One feels very small. And one feels the weakness of Western faith. You, when you come here, do you feel, can you feel that Western faith, the real Western faith in the European Union, or in the case of Spain, it's a weak faith, as you've said, that we also have our own Boko Haram?
Much, my brother. We are immensely thankful to the church in Europe, because it is the missionaries from Europe that came to evangelize us in Africa. There's just no doubt about that. And so we're very, very grateful, for the gospel your people brought to us in Africa and in different parts of the world. But then, as it is, we find that the church in Europe has got weakened. And that is very true. From what we're experiencing and from what we're seeing, you get to realize that that is the reality. Here in our place, if you come to our church, you will find children, youth, middle age, and then the adults in the church. But of course, in most of the churches here, if one goes, especially on Sunday, you see most of the people are adults. In fact, elderly ones for that matter. So the question is, where are the youth? Where are the children? Where are they? So it's a very clear sign that something is basically wrong. We need the resurrection of the church in Europe and America. We need that. And one of the things I've already said is the issue of, going to our Blessed Virgin Mother and asking for her own intervention. She will do it. I have no doubt that despite, the secularistic nature of the society here, and that is being experienced by us, I have no doubt that as long as we go to Mary, as long as we go to our Son Jesus Christ, He will intervene and He will change things. And before you know it, the church again will become alive in this part of the world. And it's our hope and it's our prayer, and I know that it will come and it will happen.
Ojalá.
I hope so. I hope so. And I hope that we have that image of the sword turning into a rosary. Just one last thing. You spoke about Monica, the girl that was kidnapped by Boko Haram, that was able to flee, and that unfortunately our authorities did not allow her to come to Spain. I imagine you know her. Could you tell us briefly her story?
Was adopted together with her mother and three brothers. It happened during the attack on Baga. That was when it happened. So they were adopted and taken to one of the houses where the Boko Haram members were staying. And they separated them. They took the boys away. And they started teaching them, about the Quran. That was what they were doing. They started teaching them. But then Monica was left together with her own mother. And you know what she was doing with the mother? What her mother and herself were doing? They were praying the rosary. They were praying the rosary. That is why the growth of the church starts from the family. That was not the very beginning of their praying the rosary. It means they've been praying the rosary before this time. And these children have been used to it. And then, what the mother did? She went to the boys and spoke to them in the vernacular or in the local language that let them be praying the rosary even in their own hearts. And that was what the boys were doing. Then after some time, she said, let them tell the Boko Haram members that they were going to ease themselves. Then from there, they would come to them, that is the mother and the daughter, and they would see how they would escape. That was what the boys told them. And then they went to the mother, who was together with Monica, and they were who were praying. The boys joined them, they prayed, and after that, they started going. And they left, and like joked. The Boko Haram members didn't see them, later on, running after them. And that was how they escaped. But they were with Boko Haram members for some few days. So for a few days, they were there. But with such prayers that they were offering, they were able to succeed in escaping from the clouds of Boko Haram members. And they trekked, I think, for 2 days. They were trekking, walking on foot for 2 days. But eventually, they found their bearing and they were able to come to Maiduguri. But that was what happened with her.
Muchas gracias, Monseñor. Bueno, pues yo me
Thank you very much, Monsignor. So I'll remain with that strength that when one says that they're a bishop, they are writing the death warrant, and they're signing the death warrant. And also, I stay with the idea that Boko Haram will be destroyed by the Rosary. Thank you very much for being here with us.